the voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. Yes, good afternoon and welcome. It's the Suzette Speak Show. We are so excited that you're here with us. It's a beautiful Fire Friday. Sorry, I got a little feedback there in my headphones. But welcome. How's everybody doing? It's a Fire Friday, my favorite. I enjoy this day more than any day of the week, not only because it's Friday. Yes, we've had a long work week. If you're like me, boy, by the time we get to Friday, the energy just barely did it. And you're tired and you're ready for the weekend. And there's lots to do this weekend, but we'll get to some of that. I also want to make sure you are in the place for the celebrity soccer match. Yes, we're back. If you went last year, it was so much fun. I was out and about with the whole Voice of the Caribbean team. Yes, we do a wonderful, thanks to Commissioner Richard Campbell and the City of Lauderhill, a wonderful Memorial Day celebrity soccer match. It's a wonderful time. Bring the family, lots to eat and enjoy. Again, the selectors and the media versus the artists. And we have some big names coming through this year. I'm really excited about that. So mark your calendars for Memorial Day weekend. Yes, we do it big here at the Voice of the Caribbean. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm your hostess with the mostest. Yes, it's Oscar weekend. Do you care? Do you watch enough of the movies to know what is even being nominated? Well, we'll go, I guess if you want to, we'll go over it. So my show is kind of a variety show. I like to talk about news. I like to talk about social media trends and hot topics that you most certainly can use, things that matter to me, and I think they hopefully they will matter to you. Sometimes it's very hard to keep up with all the news and information of the day. We had two very strange and dastardly attacks yesterday. I do want to talk about what happened because some of the stories that happened kind of glance over the news cycle, but we were here live when Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan was attacked. And we want to talk about what happened there and what we know now. Of course, we were breaking it here. It was happening while here on the Suzette Speak Show. We were live. And sometimes it seems like midday. Anytime I'm here on a Thursday and Friday, all of a sudden, breaking news last week, while I was here on air, we broke the story of Christy Nome being fired right before I signed off. That was also very interesting. But we want to bring you the latest information as it's happening. So sometimes it allows me to set out a plan and go over the stories I want to go over. Now, what's on my agenda today? I definitely want to talk about the ending of the Target fast. I started it yesterday. One of the head organizers, Pastor Jamal Bryant, and I'm going to play some of his news conference. They had a news conference a couple days ago identifying that they want the Target fast to come to an end. And as I said, one of the biggest trends I see on social media as it pertains to this announcement is a lot of people is not feeling this. Now, you get guys, it's raining in South Florida. I'm listening in my headphones and I can actually hear the rain outside. Be careful on the roadways. That's, I guess, the number one story here. We've had quite a dry spell. We had some cold weather before that, and I wonder if cold weather is going to be coming in after this. Let me check my weather.com and give you all the latest. But today is a dreary, although not sad, dreary day in South Florida. Yes, rain across the land. There's many places that have flood warnings. Okay, so we want to be careful. Even driving over here, there were some deep areas along, I think, Broward Boulevard when I was coming off of 95 to the studio. There were so many puddles that were quite extensive. They were deep. Right, so we got to be careful when we're driving today. You know, South Florida drivers, they act a little like they don't know what they're doing. All of a sudden, they can't drive when it's raining. And so we want to be very careful, all right? So be careful when you're out there after work or if you're going out for lunch and whatnot. The roads are very wet. We're supposed to have rain today. We're supposed to have rain tomorrow. Current temperature 75, 67% chance of precipitation. And it looked like it's going through Sunday and Monday. High percentages. This is the weather.com Friday 1 p.m. Thunderstorm in the region. Okay, so make sure you are safe. Make sure you are taking your time. Of course, the kids are coming home from school in rain and all of that. So we're talking about the war in Iran. We're talking about what happened. Also, there was an attack at Old Dominion College as well. So good Friday to you. I hate to always start with such heavy news. We also lost, I think, 4 more lives in the war against Iran. And I say Iran sometimes, but I say Iran, right? due to a U.S. military plane crash. Apparently, 4 United States service members that were a part of a mission to help refuel an aircraft mid-air lost their lives yesterday. So the total that they're telling us about, again, we have to talk about it. It's snowing in Seattle. Thank you for watching. Listen, we have viewers as far as Seattle. Shout out to a Seattle Black veteran on my YouTube. So yes, you can watch us live. We're available both via an app. Did you know Voice of the Caribbean, South Florida's #1 Caribbean American platform across the board, has an app? Yes, go to your app store. Whether you're an Apple or like me, an Android, we are available as an app. Take us wherever you go. Actually, our app has grown so much. People love the app. They love it. They go, wherever they go, their phone goes, their tablet goes, they have us playing in the background. That's me on a Saturday. I listen to my own station, y'all. So this is the music be good. The vibes is there. Actually, I also wanted to give a message of condolences when I tell you I have so much, what they say, so much news, so little time. You know what touched me? And I wish I was a DJ. Mikey, link me on how to get my skills up. But I wish I was a DJ. There was a salsero, Willie Colon, that passed away. For those in my Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban community listening, because we got listeners from all over the Caribbean, y'all. We do. So, yeah, we want to talk about what's happening in the United States because apparently there was an attack by a man named Mohammed Baylor Jallo, 36-year-old, allegedly attempted to gather weapons against the United States prior to an attack he perpetrated yesterday. I'm like, this man was let out after he had prior convictions of attempted terroristic behavior, was let out, and 2 years later, we see the attack that happened yesterday. What am I talking about? I'm gonna break that down. I got 5 stories and so little time to cover. So I want to get the target fast out the way. I want to do in memoriam to a great singer, trombonist, writer, producer, and actor, William Anthony Colon Roman. William Anthony Colon Roman, also known by his stage name Willie Colon. When you hear the beat drop to the music that he helped create, you know the impact he has had on salsa and urban salsa. When you hear that Aguanile, oh my gosh, with the Hector Lavoe and the Tiburon and the El Gran Varron. Yes, you don't know that about me. Get to know me. Welcome, everybody. If you're just getting to know me, no, I'm multifaceted. Yes, I'm an attorney. Yes, I'm this and that, but I'm very, very, as my cousin said, down to earth when it comes to certain things. And I love a variety of world music. I listen to all kinds of music. And trust me, when I'm in my mood, when me put on my salsa and start exercise, hello, I'm the only one that put on a little salsa every now and then, a little merengue, little bachata, and move up myself and try to move my hips and y'all don't know them. That's Willie Colon, baby. And he passed away in end of February in New York. Hero of salsa and a pioneer of salsa music. Yeah, I have to give the homage to it because this is a radio station. We gotta talk about him, Willie Colon. I saw, you know what moved me when I was on my social media last night doing my, not really a doom scroll. I was looking for stories, and what I really want to talk about today is the target fast. I want to talk about Iran. I want to talk about the 2 attacks that we saw separately going on in the United States, and what we now know about the attack on the largest Reform temple. So one of the sects of Judaism. You have, Reform Judaism is one type of Judaism, and the attack that we saw yesterday, again, we broke it here on the Suzette Speaks show. We were informing you as it was happening, literally in real time, and now we have a little bit more perspective on what happened in West Bloomfield, Michigan. We also had a second attack I'm going to talk about, and now I'm here looking, and Willie Colon had his funeral, and when I tell you they left the church and they played some salsa for this man, I'm like, he must be smiling. He was also a civil rights activist. That's one thing I appreciate about him too. I was like, oh, he's a civil rights activist as well. He stood up against racism. And he was born in Nueva York, in New York. Grew up in New York to a Puerto Rican family. And I looked at his civil rights record. I said, you know what? He was a community activist. He served on the Latino Commission on AIDS back in the day. President of the Arthur Schomburg Coalition for a Better New York. He was very active. This is my type of person. So we will call his name. Again, Willie Colon. Leaves behind wife, Julia Colon. And he died in Bronxville, New York, February 21st at the age of 75. And again, I'm grateful. Again, his music, I was bumping his music last night. It will be my soundtrack this weekend. As I remember and I learn more about this great pioneer of salsa music, Willie Colon. All right, big up Willie Colon and his whole family. All right, weather we talked about. It's raining. Y'all be ready because it's going to be a wet weekend here in South Florida. I want to go back to Pastor Jamal Bryant. I got to talk about Pete Hegseth. Gave a press conference yesterday. Pete Hegseth, the secretary of, you fill in the blank. What is he the secretary of? Class? What is he the secretary of? Me say defense. Him say war. I don't know which one better. But anyway, he gave a press conference, Secretary Hegseth did. And in it, and I'm going to play a piece. Let me play the highlight reel. He began to describe what he thought the media should be saying about the war in Iran. Now, again, we talked about yesterday, President Trump giving it a couple of names, saying it was an excursion. That, again, with Mr. Trump. And then we heard also, he said it was a war, but we had won the war. Remember, I played the clip directly from Mr. Trump. I don't want to misquote him. I obviously want you to listen to him directly, and then you decide what you're hearing, if it makes sense, and is it factual, right? It's up to you, and I will just give our disclaimer that this show, the Suzette Speaks show, reflects the opinions and the perspectives of the host and the callers. Those are chiming in online. Big up everybody watching. Hey, YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be bashful. Come check me out on YouTube or any other social media platform. If you follow me, I follow you back. Suzette. 1Z, 2 T's, right? Suzette. Some of y'all like to put the 2 Z's. It's 1 Z, or Z, as you would say, and 2 T's. Speaks, like talk, speaks with an S. Suzette Speaks. Put it together. And you find me on, whatever, Threads. Some people are Threads people. Some people are Instagram people. Some people are old school. Where you there? Facebook. Some people are TikTok people. And you can always follow the family, Voice of the Caribbean, of course, on every platform. What did I see Mikey post yesterday? Mikey posted, was it a picture with Mikey? With Bobsy Grinch? I saw it on Facebook. Big up Mikey. Mikey was in the building, the whole team. Went down for the Island Music Conference, and we're still posting about that conference. That music conference was brought to you by a team, including the one and only Shaggy. I don't know how to say it like him. Shaggy. Yeah, I did my best. Okay, so we still have a lot of information coming from now. Obviously, we have the celebrity football match. I also was telling you about a couple of events I have coming up. I do it for the ladies. I do it for the guys too, but next couple of events, this March 21st, and then next month, April 18th. We have a movement called Rise for the ladies, and this is called Rise because we want to rise, restore, inspire, serve, and empower. Restore, inspire, serve, and empower. That's what we're doing. We're rising together, right? Because a lot of us in these dark times, when we're looking at the news, we're looking at all kind of things going on, and you're getting depressed. We don't want you to be depressed. You know what? Joy is the revolution. Joy is defiance. In the midst of everything you got going on, you want me to be sad. You want me to be depressed. I will not be depressed. I will find joy on a daily basis. Me this morning, I wake up, I go to my gym, I work out, I sweat. Even though I was late, listen, are y'all still feeling the daylight savings effects? Absolutely. I'm tired. I was supposed to go to happy hour yesterday. Greetings online. Big up the Stephanie Humphrey channel. Nice to see you, my darling. Anybody else watching on the YouTube, hit the like button. Hey, so anyway, are y'all feeling the effects from the daylight savings? The daylight tired me out. My goodness, I wake up tired every morning right now. Okay, once again, we do have rainfall intensifying across South Dade. I'm talking about Liberty City or Liberty Square area, North Miami area, all the way up to Fort Lauderdale. We're talking about Central from Plantation, Sunrise, right around the 441 corridor going east to Pompano, all the way to Coral Springs. Rainfall is going to intensify. We have some flood warning as south as Palmetto Bay, Cutler Bay, because we know our listening area goes all the way to the Keys. Y'all know we reach all the way to the Keys. Big up Key Largo if you're listening. All the way up to North Palm Beach, Boston, Port St. Lucie, Jupiter, Wagwan. So if you're listening on the app worldwide, how are you doing? I got to cover the weather because, you know, we're local here and people are listening and simulcasting. So from Hollandale Beach, rainfall today, 5 inches in places like Lauderdale Lakes, Tamarack. All right. So we got to be cognizant. 5 also inches Deerfield as far north as Margate, Coral Springs. So we're looking at a change in weather. Good afternoon, everybody. And I see all the folks checking in on the YouTube. So I just realized how I can see Smooth Approach. Wagwan. Good to see you, sir. Happy Fire Friday. I don't change one day. Happy Friday to the YouTubers and everybody else listening. I appreciate y'all so very much. And I appreciate you rocking with me. So you guys know I got to go over some of the headlines. And the two that got me, rest in peace, Willie Colon, the two that got me that made me a little bit concerned. Let's play a little bit of Secretary Hegseth because I was listening to him yesterday and it was, I don't know. It was a 30+ minute. I was trying to get the highlights for you because it was a 35-minute or so news briefing with Secretary Hegseth talking about his disdain for how the war is being covered by news outlets and what they should be stating instead. Come on, Sue. What they should be stating instead. Yeah, I almost said it twice. The tongue tie Friday. Wow. What they should be stating instead. There we go, Sue. Wow. I was at the library yesterday and I was tongue tied. They have tongue twisters at the library. I had to take care of some business. Listen, I don't know what's going on. I just know it's raining. Friday, 50% chance. Saturday, 60% chance of rain. Sunday, 60% chances of rain. So we're going to have a rainy weekend. I don't know if you guys are still going to go outside. I was supposed to go to even happy hour last night. My homegirl said she was tired because of daylight savings. Here we go. Time have her tired. And I felt that too this morning, but I pushed myself. I got out of bed. I said, I'll go work out. I'll go to gym. And let me tell you, I was so late. I was like so groggy. And I thought my coach was going to get me. Thankfully, his, his assistant, the second in command was the one that was training us this morning. So I didn't have to hear all of it, all of the drama. Miss Suzette, why you late? Miss Suzette, what time is it? I didn't have to. I was like, Lord, please don't let him yell at me because I be sensitive. So we never want him to yell out for me. But I was so proud of myself. Guys, I was talking to my cousin today. We have to frame the stuff that's happening in our lives as a win. We have to get more of a glass half full mentality with everything that is happening around us. Yes, gas prices are up. We could talk about that, right? I think the national average now they're saying when we last talk was $3.49, now $3.79. We could talk about how that's going to push up plane tickets and pricing. There's a lot that's going to happen due to the decision to go to war. But we must, on a daily basis, emphasize our own wins, our little wins, the beauty of life in the small spaces at the small times. We got to do that. We got to fight against this despondence, the feeling that, oh my gosh. Y'all still watching Saturday Night Live? They say Harry Styles is hosting Saturday Night Live. That's FYI. There's also the 98th annual Oscars. Y'all watching the Oscars on Sunday? Or I'm telling you for the first time you didn't know until I told y'all. Okay, well, we already got the weather down. Let's look at some of the headlines here. We got a few minutes before we do the station ID. I wanted to get to the bottom of what happened at the two, what I would call terrorist attacks yesterday. The one against the temple let me get some information about the temple, Israel. I know that the person who perpetrated was deceased and is no longer with us. But let's get a live update from the Detroit. I want to get it from the Detroit outlet. Okay, they released the name of the person. This is what I wanted. So the Detroit Free Press. This is where I'm getting it from. The Detroit Free Press is the outlet that is now reporting 16 minutes ago the name of the alleged attacker in West Bloomfield. Again, a temple was attacked yesterday live while I was here on the air, and we just wanted to give you an update. The name of the perpetrator has been released. Ayman Muhammad Ghazali. Ayman Muhammad Ghazali allegedly is the attacker of Temple Israel, the largest Reform Jewish temple in the country. Here's what we know according to the Detroit Press. Federal authorities have identified Ayman Muhammad Ghazali, 41, of Dearborn Heights, as the attacker on Temple Israel yesterday on March 12th in West Bloomfield. Authorities said Ghazali drove a truck into the building and into a hallway. He and a security guard both fired shots, and Ghazali was found dead inside of the vehicle after a resulting fire was extinguished. So this is what I got yesterday too, that the security shot back at this man who drove his truck into a temple. It ended up being in the hallway of the temple. But then when the security guard shot at the truck caught fire. Because remember, when I was reporting live yesterday as it was happening, there was fire coming out through the building. So this is what happened now. So this is what we know. His cause of death has not been released. Hold on, take a quick pause. We have to take a quick station ID. This is the Suzette Speak Show live every Thursday and Friday. Don't go nowhere. More right after this.
Is the all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. The voice of the Caribbean. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yes, thank you for sticking and staying. This is the Suzette Speak Show. I appreciate you. It is a rainy South Florida day. Welcome. We do have so much news in so little time as I'm trying to update you on what we covered here live as it was unfolding. A temple in West Bloomfield, Michigan was attacked yesterday in what may look, and give the appearance of having been a terrorist attack, right? We are waiting for now the motives. We don't know. There is a lot we don't know, but again, because of the heated environment we're in, the rhetoric that we've been going back and forth with, of course, we're in a conflict with Iran based on our alliance with Israel, the nation. And so this attack, again, has rung alarm bells and put a lot more people on edge. If there's people willing, and again, we don't know that Iran, as I talked about yesterday, has the capabilities of doing what the FBI bulletin said earlier this week, which is to look at possibly using drones to hit the U.S. mainland and California. We talked about that. If you missed the show yesterday at length, you could check out my YouTube. So I talked about the drone possibility that the FBI had put out warning law enforcement agencies throughout California. The governor of California said he has already been aware of that, and he is now, they've already been preparing and doing working groups to try to prepare if something crazy like that were to happen. It is not imminent, all right? It's not an imminent threat, but it has been chatter about it. And so the FBI had put out a statement for California and its officials, its law enforcement officials, to be on alert, because that's something that has been talked about, or they see evidence, not imminent evidence of, but of aspiration to do such damage on the American home front and on the homeland here, right, in the territorial United States. Now, what we did see yesterday was a very heinous attack that was perpetrated. As I'm trying to get the details, I'm reading it directly from the Detroit Free Press.com, right? Detroit Free Press is a well-known, reputable outlet, and I wanted it from Michigan because the people on the ground to me know more than probably national what's happening. So Detroit Free Press is reporting that a man named Ayman Muhammad Ghazali, who was 41 years of age, of Dearborn Heights, was the alleged attacker on Temple Israel yesterday on March 12th in West Bloomfield. Authorities say Ghazali drove his truck into the building, into a hallway, and he and a security both fired shots, and Ghazali was found dead in his vehicle after a resulting fire was extinguished. So I think what happened is a shooting happened and the shooting pop off. They exchanged fire with one another, and then likely what could have happened is that a bullet ignited a fire. So we don't know that. That is the supposition, right? That is us using context clues. That is not yet a part of the record from authorities having proven based on the evidence. We are thinking what could have caused the fire, but it seems like it may have been caused, may have been caused by the gunfire exchange. So the gunman in yesterday's temple attack has been identified as Ayman Muhammad Ghazali, 41, of Dearborn. His cause of death has not been released. One guard who was there at Temple Israel was slightly injured by the truck. So here's what we know. Let me just spit out the facts real quick before we get back to the target fast. 41-year-old immigrant from, they're publishing, he's from Lebanon. Now remember, Lebanon is one of the places that Israel has been attacking since the war with Iran has begun. I believe there's over 300. I got to pull up the actual report of how many people since this attack, the assassination of the Iranian leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. His son has now taken power. And they say the son is a little bit more, what could I say? Plays more hardball than the daddy. The son has shut down the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is the small waterway that is controlled by Iran, where 20% of the world's oil travels through on a daily basis. No oil tankers have been able to get through. This is why we are seeing the oil price go up. Y'all ever heard of the Strait of Hormuz? You got to pay attention. I gave you some facts on yesterday's show about this small waterway connecting the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman, which is the only access point for many Gulf states to the open ocean. You have to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And right now, back to Pete Hegseth, in his press conference, he's saying that he was mad that people were, I got to pay you the clip, that to paraphrase what he said, but I will play it so you can hear him for yourself. He's saying that he was upset with reporting that the United States officials were not planning for the Strait of Hormuz. All of the things that have been happening, first of all, that Iran have a little bit more gusto. They got a little bit more guts than what it seemed like that, they had some in the back pocket ready, loaded. And they went for the broad approach to attack back. They didn't just attack back United States bases. They attacked boys in Qatar and Bahrain, in Oman, and everybody could get it. But did the United States military look prepared for that to you? Me asking the question. Did they look prepared to you that the firepower that's coming back was going to come back and that they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz? And did they plan that the oil prices was going to be above, I think it reached a $101 per barrel, which, again, this just started. That price is probably going to increase more than likely, and then cause Americans to have to pay way more at the pump. Now, we were already in an economic squeeze. Also breaking, the Cuban government has announced talks with the United States. Listen, I can't get into everything. It's so much news, so little time. This is the strategy, y'all. Did you remember to constantly throw news, something new. What is news? Something new. Something newly developed. What's happening in Little Havana? What's happening in the Strait of Hormuz? What's happening in Michigan? Now, we didn't plan what's happening in Michigan. Let's get back to the details. So this man who allegedly drove his truck into Temple Israel yesterday in West Bloomfield was from Lebanon. I had to get into the geopolitics of it, because the person who drove the truck into the temple yesterday was an immigrant from Lebanon who is a U.S. citizen. Let me say it again. The guy yesterday that perpetrated the attack on Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, back up in Michigan. Yesterday was a horrific scene. We saw smoke coming out of the largest Reform temple in the country, a busy, bustling community. There were lots of kids there at school, and it is a community-centered place of worship, large one too. I see also that Cuba has announced a release of 51 prisoners. There's a lot going on, y'all. Let me put a pin in that. Let's finish the Detroit Free Press. update on what happened yesterday in Michigan at the temple that was attacked. So this man, they're giving us who he is, was a 41-year-old immigrant from Lebanon who was a U.S. citizen. He lived in Dearborn Heights, a suburb of Detroit. Father of 2 children, ages 12 and 13. He and his ex-wife divorced last year. They married in 2006 in Lebanon, records show. His ex-wife was born in Lincoln Park, okay, a downriver suburb. So she was born in Michigan, and his ex-wife was a pharmacist. All right, they're giving us a picture of who the man was. Ghazali was a restaurant manager at Hamido Restaurant on Ford Road in Dearborn Heights. Okay, so he worked at a restaurant. He had several family members who were recently killed. Oh, okay. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. He had several family members who were recently killed come on, sister. Let me take a sip of my green tea and get excited. All right, get it together. Here we go. This is important. He had several family members who were recently killed, quote, from the Detroit Free Press, in an Israeli attack on their home in Lebanon. I'll repeat that. According to the Detroit Free Press, the attacker of Temple Israel allegedly, this I gotta be careful what I call him. Mr. Ghazali, a naturalized U.S. citizen from Lebanon. This is what we know about him. He had several family members who were recently killed in an Israeli attack on their home in Lebanon, according to a statement by Dearborn Heights Mayor Mo Baden. The dead included Ghazali's niece and nephew. Wow. Ghazali was born in Lebanon in January 1985 and entered the United States in May 2010 on a, IR1 immigrant visa as the spouse of a U.S. citizen. He applied for naturalization in 2015 and was granted U.S. citizenship in February 2016. A neighbor in his Dearborn Heights neighborhood, Candy Zadaya, according to the Detroit Free Press, a report published 16 minutes ago about what happened in Temple, Israel. He had lived on the block for 30 years. Wow. She had planned to bring Ghazali flowers after learning recently about the loss of his family in Lebanon. Quote, this is from the neighbor. He was the best neighbor, always quiet, a hard worker. He was always pleasant. Everybody liked him. Wow. And this is the man that drove into the temple yesterday. This is according to what she told the Detroit Free Press. This is a news outlet called the Detroit Free Press. I'm going to finish up here. A Free Press reporter went to Ghazali's home as well as 3 addresses associated with his family in Dearborn Heights, and in an area called Canton, Michigan. No one answered the door. Where he used to work at the restaurant, at Hamido Restaurant, the popular shawarma. Y'all like shawarma? It's a great Lebanese style of food, shawarma. Where he worked, a shawarma shop. If you never have it, try it. They went there where Ghazali worked, just down the street from his home. Employees told the Free Press he worked there and was so nice, but wouldn't grant an interview. Listen, this is the man them said driving at the place yesterday. All right, put a pin in that. That's the latest that we have on the temple. Now, I want to talk about this other guy that attacked yesterday. This man's name was Gallo, and it really bothered me that I was reading some of his record. I said, let me bring it to y'all. And federal investigators have identified the Old Dominion shooting. Like, so this also happened in Michigan, bro. The block was hot yesterday. Yeah, let me get some details on the Old Dominion. We're gonna finish with the Target fast, y'all. I'm not going back to Target. Yeah. Target. We're gonna play it. Okay, we gotta play a peek. Hey, Seth. We gotta play a little bit of Pastor Jamal Bryant saying that the Target fast is over. We gotta play a little bit. Like I say, so much news, so little time, bro. So much news. So yesterday at Old Dominion University, a shooter came on campus who was, now that they found out who this suspect was, he was convicted prior as an ISIS supporter. Bomb. His name is Mohammed Baylor Jallo. Now, did you hear about this? There was two separate incidents, huge incidents yesterday, and we just getting to the 2 week mark of America and Israel's war with Iran. All right, let's just listen to what happened here. So, according to NBC 6 Nightly News, this story, I was like, what is happening? The gunman who opened fire on an Old Dominion University classroom was previously convicted of supporting ISIS and, according to court documents, was on probation for that terrorism-related charge when he carried out the deadly attack yesterday on Thursday. Y'all heard about this attack? No, so we had the temple, but there was a second attack that had happened at Old Dominion University. So yesterday also, one person was killed and 2 other people were injured in that shooting. According to NBC News, the suspect, identified by an FBI spokesman as Mohammed Baylor Jallo, 36 years old, was also killed. The mortally wounded victim was identified as a man named Brandon A. Shaw, an Army Lieutenant Colonel. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll said the 2 people injured at the university were Army personnel. Now, Old Dominion is located where? Norfolk, Virginia. So police arrived outside of Old Dominion University's campus after reports of an active shooter on Thursday in Norfolk, Virginia. According to NBCnews.com, the attack at the campus in Norfolk, Virginia is being investigated as an act of terrorism. I'm reading it here. I'm seeing it on the NBC News bulletins. I'm watching news all the time, y'all, just to kind of bring it to you and let you decide what is really happening. Now, this is what's interesting about this man. Listen close. Listen close. So FBI officials said this is being investigated as an act of terrorism. Why? So this man, Jallo, pleaded guilty a decade ago to attempting to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization. Let me read it again. Jallo pleaded guilty, the man who attacked Old Dominion University and killed somebody yesterday in Norfolk, Virginia, a decade ago, pled guilty to attempting to provide material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization, ISIS. So material, think about that, material support. So let's listen to what really happened. Dominique Evans, special agent in charge of the agency's Norfolk office, that's the FBI, right, said that the suspect yesterday in the shooting on Old Dominion University campus in Norfolk, Virginia, shouted, Allahu Akbar. I hope I said it right. Allahu Akbar, and was subdued by students. Now, this is where, again, bravery has to come into this when it comes to these, what they call it, lone wolf attacks, because that's really the thing now, you know. We might not see an army march on our shores. I pray to God we never see that. But the lone wolf, it's very hard to plan for that, to prevent that. It's very difficult. And this is what this sounds like. So it was a group of students that, quote, according to Ms. Dominique Evans, the special agent in charge of the agency's Norfolk field office, says he was subdued by students who, quote, rendered him no longer alive. They don't know, they choked that man. I don't know. For her to use that language, rendered, quote unquote, rendered him no longer alive. The students sit on him to stop him. We're going to have some bravery with this, y'all. I saw another. Did y'all see the clip? This is the other thing on social media. I got so much to cover, so little time. The other thing on social media with the flight where a man from Miami yesterday was acting tough. I think he was inebriated. He was drunk on a flight. And an off-duty officer had to muscle him. What is going on with going to the airport? Yeah, we got to do better, guys. We got to do better on the airport thing. That's also trending. I forget where the flight was going to, but it was a guy from Miami. And they turned that thing around, baby. And then he was arrested by officers here. But anyway, yesterday, to finish up what happened before we can get back to the Target fast. And if you guys are going to be stopping the fast. Well, okay. Not according to the comment sections all across social media, but okay. So Jallo served the perpetrator yesterday in the Old Dominion University shooting and what is being called a suspected terror attack. Jallo served in the Virginia National Guard from 2009 to 2015 as a combat engineer, military officials said. He had no deployments, okay, and he was honorably discharged, the officials shared. This is according to NBCNews.com. He was arrested the next year on terrorism charges. Wow, court documents show. So he went and he served in the National Guard, Virginia National Guard, for almost 6 years, 2009 to 2015. National Guard, no deployments, honorably discharged. Then a year later, he was arrested the next year on the terrorism charge, according to court documents. Jallo pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 11 years in prison and 5 years of probation. He was also ordered to participate in a computer monitoring program, according to the transcript of his sentencing. Mohammed Baylor Jallo, the suspected shooter, now deceased because the students rendered him now not no longer alive, bro. They fight for. Can you imagine you fight for your life? A man coming up place with a whatever kind of weapon, start shoot. It's you versus whoa. I applaud that bravery, man. So he had a terrorism charge, got out of jail, was released in 2024. The federal probation office that appeared to oversee his supervised release did not immediately respond on Thursday to messages. So he just got out on probation 2024, and now 2026, this man committed this heinous crime. According to government sentencing memo, Jallo sent gift card codes to an undercover FBI employee who he believed was a member of the Islamic State terrorists, ISIS. So that's what he said, gift card codes for them to buy stuff. He traveled to North Carolina in 2016 to try to buy an AK-47 for what the memo described as a plot to murder United States military personnel. He didn't want to kill people for a long time. The owner refused to sell it, according to the memo, and Jallo bought an AR-15 at a gun store. He was arrested the next day. In a separate sentencing memo, his defense team described his, quote, radical ideals as a shallow search for identity and purpose that did not represent a commitment to violence. He took responsibility for the crime, the memo argues. That's his defense team, of course. And his interactions with ISIS operatives and the FBI demonstrated his, quote, gullibility, impressionability, lack of sophistication, and passivity. That's the defense argument. Jallo's life was marked by, quote, war, trauma, violence, sexual abuse, and significant cultural and familial dislocation, the memo says, adding that he was a bright, capable, hardworking, and kind man who had a promising future prior to his dalliance with extremism. One of his attorneys, Ashraf Numbani, said Thursday that he had no contact with Jallo since he represented him, and he had no information about the shooting at Old Dominion. Quote, according to this, his prior attorney, any loss of life is tragic, and violence against innocent people is completely contrary to Islamic teachings and basic human morality, according to Numbani. We'll leave that there. That's a lot to unpack. This man was already involved in terrorist, ideals, and trying to find identity, according to his defense. Now let's put a pause on that. We gotta leave that one alone. I'm gonna play what Secretary Hegseth said, just the highlights of what Secretary Hegseth said, just for you to hear yourself. Yesterday, saying that he did not like the way the Strait of Hormuz was being covered, that they fully expected the Trump government and the administration in their declaration of this. No, they say they're not declaring war, but it's an excursion, but it's war. Let's hear what Secretary Hegseth had to say. This is just the highlights from. You can listen to his whole speech. It's available on YouTube, but this one is from CNBC television. Just the highlights of yesterday's press conference yesterday with Secretary Hegseth. Let's hear what he had to say.
Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we have been dealing with it and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world is never seen before.
Is it me? As when Secretary Heseth is talking, I don't know if he's trying to convince us or convince himself. We don't need to worry about the Strait of Hormuz being blocked when it's the number one for many of our allies source of oil. 20% of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. And we don't need to worry about it. And Iran has said they locking it down. They might lock it off. Because we're at war. So what we gonna do? I don't know. What we gonna do? Let me get back to the Target fast as the last story. Listen, I got so much news, so little time. Target fast boycott organizers held a news press conference. I'm not laughing at it, but I've been laughing at the commentary, y'all. How you feel about this? Are you going back to Target? Well, according to Roland Martin's news channel, I'll just do a quick clip because we're almost out of time. Remember, rainfall all weekend, so please be careful. 1 to 2 inches, and there are flood warnings all over South Florida right now, from South Miami all the way up to North Broward. So 1 to 2 inches from Margate, Tamarack, all the way to Pompano, parts of Pompano. 1 to 2 inches of rain today, so be safe out there. All right, so let's get to the Target boycott. So after months, this is according to the Roland Martin YouTube channel, reporting about the breaking news that Pastor Jamal Bryant declares that the Target fast, right? The Target boycott, they were calling it a Target fast because he's a pastor and fasting means staying away, right? We got it. We are everybody on the same page. Okay. Pastor Jamal Bryant declared that the Target fast finished. It's finished, y'all, after crippling economic pressure. According to, let me just let him play. Let me just let him say it in his own words, okay? After crippling economic pressure, campaign rocks the retailer. And this is according to the Roland Martin YouTube channel. Just the subtitle of what I'm going to play right now. It says, after months of economic pressure and a national boycott campaign, Pastor Jamal Bryant announced that the Target fast is officially over. The campaign aimed to force accountability from the retail giant after backlash over its retreat from its diversity commitments. Pastor Jamal Bryant declares that the Target fast finished after a sustained boycott campaign that he says forced the retailer to feel significant economic pressure. Now, their stock value went down. I think the CEO, all of the changes, certain changes were made, and they came back, and now they're saying they're going to partner with HBCUs. They're going to, I don't know what that means. They're going to actually hire HBCU graduates. Is that what that means? And some of the funds that were promised to repurpose for DEI, they're going to do it in a different way. Is that what that means? Well, according to this report from the Roland Martin YouTube channel. So according to Pastor Jamal Bryant, the campaign is finished after he says the campaign forced the retailer to feel significant economic pressure. Supporters argue that the campaign demonstrated the power of coordinated Black consumer activism and revived the tradition of economic protest used during the civil rights movement. Okay. Let me just have you hear from Pastor. Now, this is 18 minutes. I can't play 18 minutes. All right. You guys can watch this whole thing. I'm going to play just a little bit of it. And I just want to see if it gets to the crux of the why. But a lot of people disagreed, even in the comment section here on YouTube. Bruh, people are not, I don't know. Are you going back to Target? Or are you done with Target? Let's just hear just a little bit of what Pastor Jamal Bryant is saying as to why the Target fast is over. It is finished. It is finished. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Station of the idea of Martin Luther King Jr., who said this ought to be the place that we find financial freedom for those who are poor, that this is an idea that is not yet realized. And so the three of us are the sons and daughters of the civil rights movement, knowing that the next progressive step after civil rights is civil rights, that there has to be some economic development. Harry Belafonte gives witness to Dr. King calling him 4 weeks before he was assassinated and said, "I am afraid we've integrated the Negro into a burning house. What's the point of Black people being able to sit at the lunch counter if they don't have access to a hamburger?" And so you fast forward all of these years later, And
I
I
don't want to
am
get
embarrassed
copyright strike.
that we
Sorry.
have to have this fight. I am ashamed that we have to complete the work of the ancestors who went before us. But I am grateful and I'm humbled that we have the strength to pick up the baton and to continue the journey. Let me first thank 300,000 people who have registered to be a part of the Target Fast from all over, for the nameless and faceless pastors and churches and denominations who walk.
I gotta pause it for a quick second so that I don't get copyright.
This out loud, and Leader Mallory began to echo the sentiments that were naysayers who didn't think this would have any impact, have any effect, because quite frankly, honestly, transparently, a whole generation has not seen an effective boycott.
We gotta pause it, guys, because this will go extra long, and I'm almost out of time. But I encourage you to watch this statement. It's on the Roland S. Martin YouTube channel. I love Roland Martin. I have served as a political commentator and an analyst on his channel, and he allowed for Pastor Jamal Bryant, along with, and he referenced two others who were in coordination with him leading this Target Fast, Senator Nina Turner from I forget which state. Oh my goodness! And leader, as he is recognizing them, two ladies, Tamika Mallory, and I don't know. I want you to listen to it in full. I'm apologizing again. So much news, so little time, but we will get back into business next week. Y'all don't worry. But watch the whole thing. I encourage you to listen to his reasoning and ask yourself: will you be returning to Target? Is a question. But for right now, that's it. That's all. Says the clock on the wall. Your girl has to get up out of here. Remember, I have two women's empowerment events that are coming up. First one, actually, I think March 21st is sold out. I'm sorry, I keep announcing it. All right, I don't know if we have tickets, but check out April 18th. You can always follow me, Suzette1Z2Ts on all platforms. Speak with S. Making room for Lisa B. Have a great weekend. Stay dry.
BC, Lauderdale Lakes, 96.9 FM, the all-new voice of the Caribbean.
This is the all-new voice of the Caribbean. Better sounding radio. WLYF HD2 Miami, 101.5 HD2.
The city of